Oh, hello. The video just started itself. Rightio, it looks like we're on. I wanted to come on now and do this video. I really didn't expect to be honest. I was going to do it tomorrow, which is my dad's anniversary. But I'm doing it the day before because I also want to post it at the time that he transitioned, which is 1:17 in Melbourne time. So I'm not going to be up doing any video at that time of the morning. So yeah, I'm doing it now, the day before. And I was kind of sitting there thinking about, oh gosh, what am I going to talk about? Like, is there anything that wants to come through? And that was it. Dad was right there, and he was like, he's ready to talk. So this message is partially from him. He also helped me pick the decks that we're going to use today, because we're going to do a little bit more of a card reading, I think, depending on our time and how long it goes for. But I'm kind of just going with the flow, to be honest with you. The one thing that he wants me to talk about is our relationship. And to be honest with you, my dad was quite emotionally unavailable. He wasn't the most present father. He worked away. He was always traveling. He just was, when he was there, he was either sleeping or watching TV, recovering. Sundays he was drunk. It was just never really, I always wanted this love from my dad, but it never, I kind of never got what I needed, and I say that with love. We have an amazing relationship now, an amazing connection, and it's lovely. It's really, really nice and better than what we had when he was on the earth. So yeah, it's beautiful. I actually spent some time at his graveside last year, which was incredibly fulfilling, but I would say also comforting. And to be honest with you, my heart, I wish I could be there tomorrow, but I've decided to take some time out to meditate tomorrow, and I'll go there energetically. It was beautiful being with him, and he sent me lots of signs and synchronicities. And when I actually arrived at the airport last year, so his name's John, and we pulled out of the parking lot, and then the car that was parked opposite us, the number plate was John. And it was just so cool. Like, that's just right on arriving, right? And just lots of signs and synchronicities, and it was beautiful to know that he was around, and he's really been supporting me ever since, hugely supporting me with my growth and my healing, and he's got me. He's got my back. I know he does. And yeah, so anyway, okay, so there's that. I do want to just take a minute to do our karakia. Didn't do it last time. It was so funny because I posted the video, and then I think it was like early hours in the morning, I wake up and I went, oh, I didn't do the karakia. But that's okay. Wasn't meant to. It just all flowed nicely, so it doesn't really matter. But we're going to do it now. Okay. Divine Creator of our souls, thank you for bringing us together and for protecting us and guiding us as we travel our journey throughout this lifetime. We ask for your support as we serve you for the greater good. Please bring to light that which needs healing, the darkness that needs forgiveness within ourselves and therefore others. Bless us with your presence through these messages and help the collective to understand your divinity within. Amen. Okay, so the one thing that is coming through strongly from Dad is he's just saying to love, open your heart and love. And this is one thing that he wishes that he had have done more when he was here. is express love. And he sees now that he's where he is, that how important it is to do this. If you are, whoever it is you're in a relationship with, with your friends, with your family, with your children especially, love them. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of opening up your heart. And the thing is that I know that we've all been hurt. Like, there are some of you who have been hurt so severely, and it's really hard to open up. And it can also be the situation where there are those of you who are in relationships or friendships or whatever ships where you've been hurt really badly. And, we can kind of say, oh, I'll always love them, or I'll always be there ready to open up to them. But we never truly fully do, because there's always this fear of being hurt again. And the fact of the matter is that what that ultimately is a result of is not fully loving ourselves, because when we lose trust in other people, we are actually losing trust in ourselves and faith in ourselves to make the right choices, to make the right decisions. Now, in saying this, I'm not saying to be around people who are abusive or who are bad towards you in any shape or form. Not saying that at all. It's really about being honest with yourself and those around you. If there are people that you are with and you don't want to be with them, be honest about it. If there are people that you are with and their trust isn't there, be honest about it. If you are around people and you're not being honest, really take a moment to consider why. Why is it that the honesty isn't there? Yeah, and Dad is absolutely backing me on that, because he knows that that was something that he struggled with in his life, was honesty, and I think most people do. There's all kind of like, we often tend to hide things, and even if it seems like a really little thing, it's still hidden, right? It's still something that's hidden. And I know for me, this is something that I have really worked through over the last few months, because I've always been adamant I want honesty from people. And there's, I suppose, been instances where there's been deception and betrayal and stuff like that, and it was something that I was kind of going, why is this happening in my life? I'm honest with people. I don't betray people. I'm loyal. I'm not deceptive to people. So why is it that that's what I'm getting? And then I realized on a really deep level that what was happening was, it wasn't about how I was treating other people, because this is the thing, right? We always hear, treat others how you want to be treated, right? No way. Treat yourself how you want to be treated. Yeah? If you are expecting something from somebody else and you're not giving that to yourself, there is no way you are going to get that from other people. I think it's really, I'm just going to leave that there, because this has been quite a major discovery that I've had for myself, and it can go really, really deep. Now, this is interesting that this is all coming up, because I certainly feel like I actually want to have the Rider-Waite deck while I'm talking. I actually feel like there's so much at the moment that people are, see, like we've got the sun here, and there's so much at the moment that is coming to light, right? The sun is being shone upon the darkness here, and and also within ourselves, right? In order for us to get to this happy life that we want, the happiness that we all desire, we have to be honest, yeah? And being honest means we get vulnerable, right? We don't lie to ourselves anymore. And when I'm talking about being vulnerable, I'm talking about being vulnerable with ourselves first and foremost. And that can be brutal when you truthfully look at things. That can be really brutal, right? And it can be hard to really be honest with yourself, because none of us want to admit that, yeah, sure, we're not always honest, and we do, tell porkies, right? Look at this judgment here. Look at this. I love that this has come up, because this here is about a renewal, right? And from the last video talking about the end of the cycle and the renewal coming in, right? These people are coming up ready to be born again. And you're looking at the judgment. I also am drawn to this cross here, and it reminds me of the Red Cross for some reason. And I feel like there's this healing that needs to be done. And again, this vulnerability is coming out, right? So shedding light on that healing that needs to be done, the truth of the matter, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to use the word God here because I just feel it's appropriate, but call it whatever you want. Source, creator, universe, whatever, okay? God sees everything. When we're talking about judgment here, this is God seeing everything, hearing everything, right? And if we want to look at dishonesty and look at deception, people think they get away with stuff, but really they don't, because at the end of the day, it's always seen, yeah? And yeah, I kind of feel like there's bringing to light the truth, but there's also a sense of speaking the truth as well. Yeah, see, look at this, the moon here, and this is the hidden truths, things that are not apparent, right? Things that are hidden in the darkness, and things that we also don't want to see. And what we don't want to see when it comes to light, right? It can be absolutely harsh judgment. Okay, so I want to say about that, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle, because no one's perfect, right? And we all do things that we regret or we're ashamed of. And it's not, I suppose, a matter of just going, oh yeah, well, I admit that now, so it's fine. It's doing the work so it doesn't repeat. It's doing things so that you can improve yourself, because ultimately that's what it's all about. And this is why being honest with yourself is so important, because in order to grow, we need to get real. You know, how do you grow if you're always just kind of going, oh, well, that doesn't matter, or you're sweeping it under the rug? You know, how do we actually grow, right? This Page of Pentacles here is looking at this pentacle going, okay, I'm going to learn how to use this to make it grow, right? And what is the value? What value do you put on honesty? What value do you put on your word? Right? Because if you put a lot of value on your word and yet your word is dishonest, how valuable is it truly when it's not even real? Because if it's the case, and I want to say that this could also, for some of you, be people around you. If there are people around you, or if it's you, take it however it applies, and it could apply both ways. And again, I want to just reiterate, be honest with yourself, okay? And it can be a hard truth to hear. It's really hard. I've had to do it, and it's not easy. And I'm like, oh, God, you know? Ooh. Don't know if I fancy that too much. However, it's given me a chance to improve and grow. And oh, I've lost where I was going with that. Yeah, I don't know. But okay, I love this because this is on the bottom of the deck here. So if you're looking at the Page of Pentacles and you want to grow to the King, how are you going to do that? You know, what value is your word worth? Because if there's no value in it, if there's no substance in your word, it's not going to grow, and you're not actually going to graduate to the position of the King, right? Because the King knows how to use those pentacles. The King knows what value he holds. Yeah, he knows what he's worth. And that was what I was going to say earlier, was that if it's the case that you're saying things to appease other people or to get them to say like you, or a little bit like a chameleon, right? If you're kind of shifting and shaping to suit the situation or suit those around you, then it's not really truth. And the fact of the matter is that if you want to be true, then it's about getting to know who you are. So you're standing solid in that, right? Because that's what the King of Pentacles is about, right? Page of Cups. See, again, these pages, they're at the beginning of learning, right? And so they're learning, okay, who am I? This is about a new love, and this is a new love for yourself, an honest love, right? The fish does not belong in the cup. This is a fish out of water. And so this may be something that is new for you. Yeah, this may be something that you actually are not used to. Okay, and this page here is also working out, how does he keep the fish in the cup? Now, the fact of the matter is, if the page is completely and utterly honest with himself, the fish doesn't belong in the cup. It belongs in the ocean behind him. And so if he would just turn around, he would see the truth of that. But it's almost like he's got his back to the truth. And he's trying to work out, okay, I'm going to keep this fish in the cup, but how do I do it? And then how do I convince everybody else around me that this is where it belongs, right? Instead of letting the fish swim, because this fish is going to be able to grow. There's no room for growth in the cup for the fish, right? So how is it going to grow? Well, it's stuck in that cup. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? Oh, I love this. Look at this. Look at this. See, this is, I'm going to do this one first because I feel like this is the death of the dishonesty. And how does this want to come out here? It's the death of truth, the death of a false truth. Okay, because if you look at the Page of Cups, right, this is somebody who's has a cup in love. Okay, it's got a fish in there, and how am I going to keep this fish in the cup? Okay, so I can offer it to someone to show them that this fish here we go, you have a fish, right? Here's two people here, the Two of Cups here, exchanging each other's cups and giving it to them, right? What is in your cup? I also want to say, because there's actually nothing in these cups. There's nothing showing in these cups. And so I want to say here that make sure that your cup is filled with truth. And anything, and I want to say this actually in particular about relationships, because the Two of Cups can often represent romantic relationships, although not always, but I am just getting this, is that in every relationship that has not worked out, it's important for you to be honest with yourself, to look at what you truly were offering. Was it real or not? Like, was it truly who you were? Were you offering your true self? Because this has come out next to the moon. And so I want to say about that, this is about bringing light to the fact that if you don't know who you truly are, then there's no way you could offer the truth to anybody else. And when I'm talking about who you truly are, I'm talking about not just the light side of things, but the shadow side of things, because we have the sun and moon here, and that represents both, right? That represents both. So this is so important. So this is putting to rest the deception. And when I say that, it sounds really, really harsh. I want you to know that that comes from a really loving place, because the truth of the matter, if you are just offering the bare minimum, there is no way that anything is going to actually grow. There's no room for growth, right? Okay, so that's so cool that those two jumped out together. I love that. I also want to say with the Two of Cups here is that there's a blessing over these cups, and I feel as though that the cups are being cleansed. Well, that just meant 21 as I looked at the time there. The cups are being cleansed. Interesting. What else have we got here in relation to this? I actually really love that this has gone into this conversation, because this is beautiful. Yeah, feeling out in the cold, right? Some of you have felt like you've actually never belonged anywhere, and it's been really harsh. There's been sort of this feeling of every time you attempt to do something, and this could be in relationships or it may not be, but I am also getting family as well. There's always this feeling of being shunned or criticized or crippled. So for some of you, you feel crippled by your family and ostracized, right? I want to say about this is come out of the victim mentality, because what these two people don't realize is that there's actually a warm building here behind them, and this is a church, right? So it's so funny that I was called to speak about God earlier, but this is a church, a warm, dry church behind them, and they're kind of like walking along feeling sorry for themselves and not actually seeing what's behind them here. Okay, and this is again about being honest with yourself, right? Instead of doing the woe is me type of thing, really, really be honest, okay? And I don't mean that in a cruel way, because don't get me wrong, like families can be nasty. And there's no doubt about that. And that is not for all of you, okay? Because yeah, there can be some things that are really harsh. And it may even be the fact that regardless of what the conditions are, that you need to walk away. That you just need to go, enough is enough. I am putting an end to this. I'm putting an end to this. I'm not pretending anymore that people are offering me a full cup when the cup is actually empty and there's nothing in there. It's all rubbish, right? Because if you truly, honestly look at the cup rather than your idea of what is in the cup, you're going to see the truth, okay? You're going to see that there's just a fish in there. There's no pentacles or anything of substance. It's a fish that's out of water. It's not even in the right place, right? So this is really important. It's important to not be judgmental, but to be discerning, okay? And in that sense, you kind of make a judgment call on what it is that you need to do and how you need to move forward, yeah? What else? What else do we want to say here? Look at this, see? Here's a new cup being offered to this person. there's these 3 cups here, and this person is focusing on these 3 cups that haven't been substantial. Okay, there's this other cup here. This is the Ace of Cups. So this is a new beginning. This is something that is offered to you with love. Okay, I'm not talking about romance necessarily, although it could be, but I'm saying this is a fresh start for you. This is a start for you to be able to receive this cup and go, okay, cool, this is a cup. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to fill it up with, right? But also, because there's been these 3 cups here, there's been these relationships or friendships or whatever it is, family ships that haven't worked. It's going, okay, what did I learn from those that I can then apply to this new cycle? Because, you know, it doesn't mean it's the end all and be all. There's new cycles happening all the time. So what is it that you can now apply in your life that you have learned from the previous ones? And when we're talking about at the beginning about honesty and love and opening up, and not just opening up to give, but also opening up to receive, then we are, you know, actually doing what it is that we need to do. And if we're being completely honest with ourselves as to why these 3 relationships or whatever didn't work out, and contemplating that, not just, oh, that person did this and that person did that. What was your contribution in that failure of that relationship? What did you do? You know, and that can be difficult to see if we continuously pointing the finger at other people. It can be really difficult to see what it is that we have done and how we have you know, added to the breakdown in that. Because no matter what, even because at the bottom of the deck here, we've got the 7 of Swords. Now, I know that a lot of people talk about as the deception card and the liar, cheater, stealer, right? And that could be the case for some of you, that you've come away from that, right? But what I want to say is this is about also being strategic in your next steps. What do you want to do moving forward? Yeah, see, moving forward with the Chariot here, what is it that you want to do differently so that you can create something different for yourself, so that the Tower doesn't happen again for you, right? So that you can sit on your throne and know that you are owning that you have the power to make the call, okay? To create what it is that you want to create for yourself in the way that you want to receive it. This is super important, okay? So let's have a look. Let's pull one more card here and then we'll move on to another. Oh, we've got 2. Oh, I love this. It's come out again just to reiterate what I was saying. And this card here was actually the next one up, but no, we're not talking about that, but it wanted to come out to talk about it. This is an offering, okay? I feel like this is an offering, and this is, yes, definitely looking at the past. Looking at the past, but I want to say making sure that you're allocating responsibility evenly, okay? Because in relationships, when things work and when they don't work, there's 2 people, not 4. Or if it's a family, it could be 4. But, you know, say there's 2 people, say like it's a romantic relationship and it breaks down or something's going wrong. There's 2 people. Again, I went to do this. There's 2 people involved, and no matter what has happened, there's always equal responsibility at making that relationship work or it failing, okay? So just be aware of that and be mindful of what it is that you are contributing to that, okay? Because when we play the blame game, it takes away our power, okay? We give our power away and we say, The responsibility for everything is on you, and therefore I'm not in control of anything, and that is not the case at all. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at the Grace cards. These are the ones that Dad picked because his mum's name is Grace, and yeah, oh, I love that. This has just jumped out. Love. Look at this. How beautiful. And it says, share your heart. To love another is the ultimate expression of grace. Oh, wow. That is so beautiful. I love that. How gorgeous. Do we need one more? Let's try for one more. If we don't, we'll move on to the next deck. Love that. Thank you, Dad. Cool. There's one more there. Okay, and this is perception. Yes, perfect. See the past through the lens of grace. All that occurs is designed to support our spiritual evolution. Beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so I feel like I just want to see if there's one more here. Let's have a look. Oh, that was jumping all over the show. Rest. Here we go. Take a mental break. A quiet mind has direct access to wisdom and insight. Yeah, 100%. Honestly, our minds were not designed to rule our lives, right? Our minds were designed to help us do things, and I'm sure I talked about that last time, and so I'm not going to go too much into that. Have a look at the last video about that. It's in there somewhere, I'm sure it is. But yeah, this is giving our mind a rest. And if we want to talk about tapping into our intuition, which I have the intuition cards here, then the mind definitely needs to move out the way. And we're in control of that. The mind is not in control of us as much as it would like to convince us it is. Okay, so give me a card for intuition, please. And I might actually read this from the book. I just wanted one card. It was 3. I want one card. One card. There we go. Thank you. What's this? Beautiful freedom. Oh, that is so gorgeous. Look at that. Freedom. Okay, I've got this big thing here so I can look at it. Check it out. That really was lovely, wasn't it? Okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I don't even know where it is. There it is. Come back. Freedom. Okay, this is going to help me read it so I'm not so slow. Boundless energy, light and love. We have been guided and protected. Our soul yearns for freedom to walk lightly on this earth, so lightly that we almost lift off. That sense of freedom, of boundless energy, which wants to burst from within, wants us to soar. This freedom comes from a place of attachment to things, to places, to others. This freedom understands that everything is one. Everything is energy. Yes. This freedom allows us to unburden ourselves from worries that weigh us down. Free yourself from your mind. Can't make it up. Release yourself from the thoughts that keep you a captive. Awesome. Signs: love, protection, guidance, liberation, and release. That is absolutely perfect. Love that. Okay, so the last card here is going to be a postcard from Spirit. Okay, so let's have a look at what comes out. One card, please. Oh, that was quick. Look at that. That was so quick. Okay, are we ready? I love these cards. They're so cool. Okay, I think I need to do it that way. Is that better? Yes. Okay, here we go, guys. Dearest you, we have something exciting to share with you. You are a manifesting master, and you don't even know it. There will always be enough of everything that you need in your life. Money, opportunities, love, kindness. So whatever you're asking guidance about, have faith and be open to the many ways in which you will experience prosperity. Spirit is the source of your supply. The universe is always reflecting back to you what you believe. So whenever you fall into insecurity, you will be shown an illusion as if your fear were real. But the truth is that the universe is abundant. You are and always have been enough, and abundance is your natural state. If you can imagine something consistently as truth, you can and will create it. You are so on the right path now. Keep believing. Then the seeing happens. Loving you more and more every day. Wow, that's so cool. I love that. And that's just it, right? It is totally it. How do we want to see things? You know, how honest are we being about how we are perceiving what is going on, what is happening in our life, how much responsibility are we taking on board, and how much power are we giving away to other people? These are all things that you can look at within yourself and discover so that you take your power back and you can grow and evolve. Because honestly, the ball is always in your court, and it depends on whether you want to throw it to someone else to bounce on your behalf or whether you want to take control of that. Yeah. So yeah, that's super, super cool. That went so quick. I can't believe how fast that went. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you made it to the end, please give us a beautiful purple love heart and a peace sign. Okay, thank you all so much. Love you and take care of yourselves. Until next time, I can't even remember how I sign off. How do I usually sign off? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Okay, take care of your beautiful selves. There we go. It came. Thank you. Okay, see ya. Bye-bye.